right now. Holy. Yeah. What is good, everybody? Hi, welcome. Don't talk to me though. That'll just be way overwhelming. You can just say hi in the chat. Could you do me a favor to say hi in the chat? Can I pin myself? Okay, here we go. Pin, boop. Look at that. What, can I pin Justin too? Boop. Oh, there we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Let me get some premium beats for us. There we go. We'll do some premium podcast beats. Angela Moon. Hi, Angela. Sammy Coyle. Good to see you. Who else do I recognize in here? Gotta keep approving people through. Yeah, just say hi in the chat. Let me know in the chat, actually, what are y'all photographing? Are you all wedding photographers? You're not all wedding photographers. Who here is not a wedding photographer? That's what I want to know. Who here is like using AI to like edit NASCAR? Christian, no weddings at all. That's awesome. Sweet. What do we got? I refuse to niche. That's awesome. Yeah. What else? No wedding pets. Hey, Monica, dude, if I could go back and redo my life, Justin, I'd just be a pet photographer. I think pet photographers have it made. You've got like, and I know you got some competition, but you got lower competition. Not all these family photographers everywhere. People love their pets. People like their pets more than their kids. I cried watching, I think it was Independence Day, when there's a dog, they're stuck in a tunnel and the aliens are shooting and there's a big explosion in the tunnel and this dog is trying to get away and he just barely makes it. And I was so scared I was like, I was so overwhelmed. But then like everybody else is dying. Women and children are dying. And I'm just like, aliens are so ridiculous. Just doing their thing. Anybody? Yeah, such a great movie moment, Paul. Yeah, I agree. I still cry worrying it's going to die. See, Courtney? Justin, check it out. I'm repping an OG Aftershoot shirt here.
OG.
It's like, this one's real old.
I have a very limited edition sweatshirt on right now. I think it's one of two.
One of two. That is awesome. Yeah, that's sweatshirt. No one is going to understand what that means. I mean, that is niche. That is very niche. Yeah, the hoodie is absolutely illegal. Who do we got here? We got 80. Let's go. Still don't have one. Hey, Michelle. All right. Well, hi, everybody. Welcome. This was kind of like an impromptu thing. Justin and I were talking, and we were discussing how did I ever do anything before AI calling and editing? Like he was on the podcast and I was just like, I just don't understand. And then we were also discussing what keeps people from like jumping into AI and actually using it. And I think for me, there's a few things. I think number one is probably the suspicion that like, can this actually do what I do? Like, can this actually perform like, to the level that I'm going to be satisfied? And we've just seen like a crazy improvement with what it is capable of doing. And Justin, if I could just sit on a soapbox for a minute and just talk about this just real quick for y'all. Is that, by the way, is that anybody's like stance? Like, is anybody just like, I need a hand editor. Like I only will hire a person that I can look in the eyeballs that's sitting next to me to edit my pictures. I very much believed that for a long time because I used to work with the previous editing companies. Like, what was the one? Oh, it was so bad. Hold on. Shoot.edit. How did you know? How did you know? I used to use Shoot.edit. And like one day my gallery would come back and it would be great. And then the other day it would come back and it'd be absolutely like the worst garbage I've ever seen. And I'd have to get back on the phone with them and be like, what's going on? Gotta let people in. And so inconsistent, but there was something about it that it was at least a hand editor. And so then I got in this habit of I actually hired just a girl to come to my wife in my apartment. We put her in the guest room, and that way I could at least like know it was the same person editing my work all the time, right? But I also noticed inconsistencies then because she'd come in and one day she'd just like her whole world would be exploding. And she just was very inconsistent with even her editing. And I'm like, but I can look you in the eyes. I can see what you're doing. And so I think the wake up call for me was when I had my kids. Everybody out there, I've got a 10-year-old daughter. I've got twin boys that are 7. When I was having my boys. And I have I had a staff of photographers, and my best photographer's name's Ben Adams. He's easily, arguably more talented than me. He's won more Fearless awards than me. He's just a better photographer, and it pisses me off because when he started with me, he wasn't, and I taught him everything, and now it's really frustrating. Anyhow, so he said, "Hey, I'll take over and I will call and edit your wedding while you go spend time with the twins." And that was awesome of him. I love that. And then I came back from this like paternity leave and I looked at the work that he did. And the entire time I was going through it and I was like, no, no, no. Like, why would you do that? Why would you make that like this tint? Why wouldn't you dodge and burn here? And it was in that moment that it dawned on me everybody loves his work. He's better than I am. He's a better photographer. He's a better editor. And here I am nitpicking one of the best. And I realized that's because he's just simply not me. And I had to understand the fact that, like, holy shit, if it's actually just not me inside my own brain thinking all these weird, nuanced things, I will always be dissatisfied. And the craziest thing has happened with Aftershoot is that I've realized if I want to get as close as I can to a duplicate of the way that my brain thinks, like actually me, not Ben Adams, not some like intern that's in my guest room, not shoot at it like, but like actually me, the closest thing that I can possibly get is actually using AI because it only learns what I give it. It doesn't have good days and bad days. It doesn't think that one stop underexposed is like better because it's trendy and they saw someone post on Instagram this trend and they wanted to try it out this week. It just does what I do. And when I realized that, and I started to actually see the results, I was like, this is actually just like like I was gonna say a shittier version of me, but I mean, but it's a better version of me than anybody else has ever been. Do you know what I mean? And I was sold on it, but it took this really interesting train of thought for me to kind of process. And so from that point forward, I was just like, this is where I need to be saving my time in order to be doing the things that I actually need to be doing. Like, I don't know, marketing or photographing, you know. So I think that was one big thought. And then Justin, I'm going to toss it to you. The other big thing that I actually struggled with, Justin, can I admit that I struggled with? I don't know if I told you that I struggle with this.
No, you didn't.
I've really struggled with like setting up a profile. I think that a lot of photographers, they get into AI, they hear all the hype, and then they get in, and they're just like, fuck, what is like, it's a new UX interface. How do I create a profile? Does anybody else feel like that? Like, how do you actually like get it set up to be you, like to be the shittier version of you? Yeah, Hartley says me. Okay, cool. I really struggled with that. Yeah, overwhelming. I totally agree, Brandy. It's I went in and listen, Justin, you did great. Software's wonderful. But end of the day, I still like it's a new thing. And I think it's a new thing to a lot of people. And we get in there and we're just like, I don't know what to do. I can watch a YouTube video, but it's probably going to be like from 2022 and the UX isn't going to look the same as today's UX. And so I asked you to come on here and now you can take it away and hopefully help like get people set up. I think that's what I want is to help get people set up. I think maybe we can start with a profile. I'll let you start with whatever you want to start with. Yeah. And then what we're going to do is we are going to do open QA because I think we're going to try to hit on the biggest roadblocks, but you're going to have some weird niche thing, you know? And so hopefully Justin can answer all your weird niche questions.
Yes, that's what I'm here for. Yeah, so we'll dive right in. We'll talk. We'll start with profile creation. It seems like most of you guys here have Aftershoot or have struggled getting that profile created. I think it's one of like the most important steps to building a profile, or getting AI off the ground is building a good profile. So I'm going to share my screen and we're just going to dive in. If you have,
I got to give you permission.
Ooh,
I've given you all the permission.
Okay. Whew. And Michelle, yeah, we'll talk a little bit on the culling side as well. We'll also dive into the retouching that's about to launch, so you can kind of just see a little bit of what it's about. But for now, let's start with. I'm gonna share my entire screen because we're gonna open up Lightroom first. So Step one to creating a good profile is really curating your data for your profile. I mean, you want it to reflect your work in the best way possible. You want it to include the good stuff and the bad stuff, because AI is stupid. Like the easiest way to put it, AI is not like some intelligent thing that's learning all of the little nuances in your life. It's only learning what you teach it. So if you want it to perform really good in fluorescent lighting, you've got to show it a lot of examples of different like fluorescent lighting cases that you're in, whether it's you're in a school and there's one type of fluorescent lighting, and then there's a school with big windows, so you have kind of that mixed lighting. It needs to fully understand all the different conditions. And so AI is only learning from the repetition. Like, what does it see you do, and how can it repeat that? And that's
Real
why
quick,
it's like, yeah.
I was going to acknowledge something real quick. I'm going to be grabbing questions as they come through and creating like a list of questions. So I'm essentially just going to be moderator more or less here. So Justin, if you see questions in the chat, don't feel like you have to answer them right now. At the end, we'll get to Q&A, and I'm going to do my best to be bringing up all these questions. So I just wanted to say that. Okay, as you were.
We will answer all of those questions. um, So the point being, you want to create a good profile that's diverse. You also want to show it like the bad stuff. Like I think people get really hung up on, this is my dream wedding scenario. It's a cloudy day and I want to like show that and have AI just replicate that everywhere. But then when it's like a sunny day, the AI doesn't know how to compensate for it, doesn't know what to do. So you really want to give it a very, very broad set of images. Now with Aftershoot, you can do this either if you're using one catalog, which I actually go annually with my catalog, so I'll do like one catalog per year. So what I end up doing when I build a profile is I create collections. So I just find all of my favorite edited images. So these are all ready to go in. So like Adam and Christina, this wedding's all done. It's ready to go. Chrisanne and Stacy, same thing. It's been edited. It's ready to go. Andrew and Megan, these are all finalized files for me. So I'm going to be able to just bring these in using the collections feature in Aftershoot. For those of you that are using multiple catalogs, like one catalog per session, you can import all of those catalogs at once, which I'll show you that now. But just really kind of curating it, the best profiles that you'll make are the ones where you're showing it that diverse set of information. So show it like a wedding that happens on a sunny day, and then one on a rainy day, and then one that's like a night wedding, one in a barn, one in a tent. Just give it like a really good variety. For portrait photographers, same concept. You probably have a little bit more control over your sessions, so you're maybe not shooting on rainy days, but give it like a good diverse set. Show it a lot of cloudy sessions, show it a lot of a lot of those sessions that happen at sunset. If you're in studios, show it all different backgrounds because you want it to understand and interpret what happens when you light things differently, when you're shooting on different color schemes. It needs to learn all of that from you, and it can really only learn it by seeing it.
Real quick, there was a couple of questions that were pertinent to that statement right there.
Yeah.
One question that came through was when you're saying show it, right? Show it these images, show it, lighting scenarios. Are you showing it the RAWs, or are you showing it your version of the edited JPEGs?
It's a great question. So you're going to want to show it the raws, and the reason being it needs to see the before and after. So essentially, when Aftershoot gets these Lightroom catalogs, what it does is it goes like this, and it says, "Okay, that's what you shot," and then it comes in and says, "Okay, these are all the adjustments you made to get there." And that's the only way for it to learn to do it the way you do it is by seeing all of these adjustments, because you and I could come up with this exact same result by doing five different things, right? I could use these, you could be using tone curves or the regions. There's so many different, and you could maybe just do contrast and not the highlights and shadows. So there's so many ways to get to the same result. So it wants to learn what you do. So you'll need those raw files in Lightroom with the edits applied.
Hmm. There was two other questions that pertain to this. One is, it sounds like there's maybe someone who's still photographing, and I didn't mean to say still, but shoots an only JPEG, right? Can you give it the JPEGs, or do you need to give it RAWs?
Yeah, so if you're shooting in JPEG, you can build the JPEG profile as well, but you'll still want you still want to see the edits that you applied to the JPEG. So whatever
The
tweaks,
unedited,
modifications for it to
Got
learn.
it.
Correct.
And then the last one was this kind of question around, if you don't have a niche specifically, like there's some wedding photographers, but then they also do like sports. Monica also got really specific. She's like, do I need like an indoor profile and then an outdoor profile? So walk me through that.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're gonna want to make different profiles for different styles. So it doesn't matter like what you're shooting. If you're shooting sports versus weddings, as long as the edits that you're doing are similar, then you're okay. But if your starting preset is like totally different from sports to wedding, like let's say you're doing like this is a great example. So this is like Salty Sailor profile versus the Roots profile. And they're two completely different styles. So I could not mix both of those together. And then like here's another one that's Mandy's profile. So I couldn't mix all of these different profiles into one. I'd have to make one profile for this kind of filmy look, one for this kind of flat muted look, one for this little bit more of a punch look. So if your starting point to get there is a different preset, 100% different profiles, or if your end result is like totally different, it's like one's a film look, one's a, whatever. But for me, my editing style, it's very boring. So it's literally just like, okay, these are all the sliders that get adjusted. It doesn't matter if I'm in, like, here's indoors by the window. And then maybe I can flag this here. And then, like, here's what it looks like when it's backlit in the sun. So it's correcting all of this stuff for me because it's seen all the examples I gave it.
Hmm. But just to be clear, I'm gonna try to really drill in on this. You don't need, assuming you've got one aesthetic, one look, right? Let's say you've got like a real film aesthetic, a real film look. You don't need an indoor film look, an outdoor film look for the indoor film locations of a wedding and the outdoor film locations of a wedding. You could have one look, one preset that's filmed that for just your wedding stuff. uh you could do multiples, I suppose, but you can just train
Yeah,
it to learn how to handle different situations, assuming you want it to all be that one film aesthetic. Correct?
correct.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to emphasize that.
That was the perfect setup there.
All right, back
Uh,
at it.
okay, so we've created our or we've edited our files, or we have them in Lightroom, one Lightroom catalog, multiple Lightroom catalogs, doesn't matter. And then the next step for us is to head into Aftershoot and go build a profile. So when you're inside of Aftershoot, the upper right hand corner, there's this new profile button. We'll click on that, and we're going to tell it to train our own AI style. We're going to name it. We'll call it Ben Hartley. And then the
Ooh.
first thing I have to do, first thing I have to do is choose whether these are RAW or JPEG files. So back to that question, I shoot in JPEG, I edit my JPEGs. That person would be coming over here. It's a JPEG profile because your starting point's a JPEG and your all your edits are applied to that JPEG. But for me, I'm shooting in RAW, I'm editing the RAW and then exporting to JPEG, so I'd be choosing RAW here. And then the other important note, you cannot do color and black and white at the same time.
Hmm.
It's going to ignore one or the other. So if you want to build a black and white profile, you click on black and white, and then it'll ignore everything that's in color and vice versa. And then this is where it gets really, really complicated, but it's actually super easy. But it's very, very easy. If you're the type of person who's using larger catalogs, if you just click on this button, choose, it's going to pull up all the most recent catalogs you had open inside of Lightroom. So I can go in and say, okay, these are like the three most recent catalogs that I've done work in. So I want to import these and have it learn my style from these three different catalogs. Now, if you use one catalog for every session and they're scattered all over the place, you may want to use the browse your system feature and come into your hard drive and go find wherever these catalogs are stored on your computer. So we can do that. And then what happens is we have this screen and it says, okay, this is the entire contents of each of these catalogs. Simple enough. I can say everything in this catalog is done. So I check that box. You can just take everything out of this and learn from it. Or you can be a little bit more specific. So I can come down here and say, you know what, um, only like three of these sessions are done, right? So just these three things are done here. So only learn from those. And I can also click on this button over here and use the collections instead. So I can actually remember I said I make collections sometimes. So I can actually come in and just say, you know what? I made a collection of all my completed things and they're all right here. And then I can say, okay, these are the ones that you learn from. And I can do it with up to 25 catalogs at a time. I mean, you could do more. We've never tested it on more. That's the like I built a profile and just took 25 weddings and dumped them in.
Hmm.
So you could do 50 if you want, but it makes it very easy. They're all at the same time. You just have to go through each one, choose what out of it is actually final edits. That's the really important part because a lot of us will apply a preset on import or whatever it may be. And if you're getting those included, it's going to throw off your profile a little bit because it's going to go to that static preset. If you didn't tweak on it, it's going to go to that static preset and just slap some values on it and say, okay, great. This is what it is.
Couple quick questions. So for clarifying, so what we're looking at right now is this is for the photographer who has like one kind of macro catalog that like a ton of galleries are in. So they're clicking on that one catalog and then they're choosing the sessions that are finalized and edited that maybe they've delivered in the past.
Yep,
And that's what we're looking at right now.
correct.
Okay,
Now,
cool.
this process though is exactly the same for individual catalogs.
Okay,
In this case, I have one, two, three, four catalogs. The only difference is you won't see all of these things because I just have one project in each catalog. So it'd
makes
be
sense.
probably it'll look a little cleaner than this. You won't have all these subfolders and things happening. You'll just have
Yeah, I
it'll
think
look like
that's where my brain like freaks out and it abandons. It's like this is dumb. I'm out. I see subfolders. As soon as my brain sees subfolders, we're over. Yep. Hey, there was a
yes.
question. Harley says, do the catalogs take 10 years to upload to Aftershoot?
Yeah, roughly 10 years. And the reason being, what happens is, I remember I was saying the AI needs to see the before and after. So once you click upload, it's got to go through and build these previews, those little DNGs or smart previews for your catalogs to upload to the server for it to learn from because the AI needs to see that before. Because of what
Mhm.
it does, it looks at like your subject, it looks at the lighting, it looks at the condition, and it says, okay, now I know that this is outdoors in full sun, and the sun is very high in the sky, and you're tweaking it like this. So it's
Mhm.
going to learn that because it sees it. It's actually analyzing the image to understand what that condition is. So that part, it does take a while to get that going. It's got to get first uploaded, and then after that, you can close your computer. You don't need anything. You leave it closed until your profile is trained.
Is this like in your experience, just like an overnight thing? Is this an hour thing? I mean, all the variables, I get it, but like on average, what are we talking here?
Yeah, so usually I recommend people if you can afford it, do like 10 weddings
Okay.
and you'll get a pretty solid profile, 10 varied weddings. And for that process, if you're talking 10,000 photos, the upload process is probably about 45 minutes, an hour.
Oh, that's
And then
fine.
it goes in trains for like 24 hours. So that's when all the magic happens up in the cloud.
It's like a single TikTok scrolling session, and then it'll be like that's
Yeah, and then it's
it's
then it's off.
like 45 minutes later. Oh shit. Okay, it's done.
Yeah. I mean,
Got it.
honestly, when I build my profiles, it's the last thing I do before I go to bed. Like, so I'll just put the catalogs in, I'll set it to go. I turn my computer not to sleep, and then by morning it's like, done. Because I'm doing like 70, 80,000 images. So
Yeah. Okay. All right, sweet. I will stop interrupting you and keep going. If I see something that's pertinent, I will jump in.
I'm happy to answer all the questions. I love it. It's super boring listening to myself. So here I have all the different options. Again, the subfolders or the collections. And there's one more step here where you can filter down even further. So if I click on this 13 filters applied button, it allows me to tell it what inside of that catalog is finalized. So remember I was saying sometimes you import like a bunch of stuff and some of it gets a preset, but it's not actually edited. You want to exclude those. So whatever your final designation for like a delivered file would be, you can select it here. So you can say, oh, you know what? Only my flagged images are the ones that went to clients, or only my 5 stars are green, or whatever that selection is for you. You can even choose to ignore different cameras if you had like a second shooter who is, using something weird and you don't want it to learn from that. Like, you're like, oh, I got this Leica file from my second shooter and I had to edit it all weird and crazy. You can ignore cameras. So this really allows you to filter it down to the important stuff, like get to the meat of it. These are the real files that are actually edited that you should be learning from. And then from here, you just click on upload. And I'm not going to do that because it's going to take a while. That's 86,000 photos.
And then
And
how
yeah,
much is there such thing as like like training it with too many images? Like is there too many images when creating a profile?
there's not. I think the important thing to remember is to at least be it's to be diverse with it. So if you build a profile that is a lot of one thing, it's always going to perform really well at that, but it's going to skew the whole profile in one direction. And by that, what I mean is like if you only shoot uh, let's say you shoot family portraits, and 90% of your sessions happen at sunset, and then 10% happen like, at other times of the day or cloudy or whatever it is. If you give it 90% sunny day sessions and 10% cloudy day or midday stuff, like different situations, it's going to skew very heavily towards trying to edit everything like it's sunset. It
Mm.
does determine the different conditions, but it also still struggles to understand like, okay, 90% of your work is one way. Why would I focus on the other 10%? So it
Mm.
keeps trying to learn that like expected behavior that 90% of your work is. So I'd recommend balancing it out and saying, okay, you know what? If I uploaded 25 sessions that were at sunset, let me upload like at least 10 or 15 that are at, on a cloudy day
Yeah.
or midday or something, so it can see the diversity of your style.
There was some questions around maybe some confusion with like second photographers, right? So wedding photographer, Paul is curious about this, Cassidy. Um, with second photographers, second shooters, is it best to like only upload your own images then and not bring in a second photographer and their cameras and the way that they're photographing?
No, actually, I recommend it. Like, if you can give as many of your second shooter photos as you delivered, it'll always perform a little bit better. If your second shooter's shooting on Sony and you shoot Nikon, you have to edit them differently. The profile is going to still struggle a little bit on the Sony stuff because it really
Because
knows
it's
your,
Sony.
yeah,
Sorry, I
because
didn't mean
Sony,
to say that.
uh, but it knows your stuff, right? So it knows your Nikon stuff. It doesn't know how to do the Sony stuff, and you're only giving it maybe 200 images or 300 images per session to learn from, so from that Sony camera. So it's really going to struggle with that for a while, but eventually it'll learn, okay, Sony needs to be edited this way to match your style. So it
Mm.
does start segmenting cameras as you give it more and more data. And it's helpful. I mean, most of my second shooters, I shoot Nikon, most of them shoot Nikon, so it works. They it just like works perfectly fine. Like it's as if their photos are my photos, no big deal. But occasionally I do have like a Sony or a Canon guy, and they're, you know, not good images on the Sony. I don't know what to tell you. The Sonys are very green. So my profile is like always performing a little bit funny on the green ones.
Yep, I get it. It's again to make sure that I heard you correctly. It's not that Aftershoot can't work with Sony cameras. It's that when you start blending extremely different profiles, like a Sony against a Canon, that can create an issue.
No, it's only because I only hire a Sony person like once every 3 years. So
Okay,
I, I
got it.
never taught it how to edit Sony files. So
I
it
see.
it knows how to edit my Nikon stuff, but if I had a Sony second shooter, it would learn how to do the Sony stuff and really get on with that. So
Okay, okay,
it
cool.
it has no experience. I never taught it because actually I never learned how to fix the Sony files. So
Right on. And then, how often are you like? Okay, so you've uploaded 10 galleries. You've trained it 10 edit galleries that you're proud of. You've trained it. How often are you continuing to like improve the profile that you've created, like update it, relearn it? Like what does that process look like?
yeah, so we'll walk through that whole process. So let's say we've uploaded this profile, we've done our culling, our editing, we've retouched, whatever. We're all done. And now I'm gonna come back into that same profile. So I'd click on my little name here, and I'll go find my profiles. So we'll do my profiles. Um, and so I could come back into these profiles that have already been created and just click on improve profile. And when I click on improve profile, I can do that same thing. Let's say I just finished editing a gallery from that catalog. If I just choose from recent, this is the most recent catalog. I just closed it. And then it pops in, and here are all of my files again. Or if you're doing a single catalog for each one, it would just be one that says like whatever you imported. And I have that ability to upload that and improve it. So the recommendation for this is to keep going as long as it's not perfect. Just keep uploading. It's very hard to make it worse unless you dig back deep. So the only time I've ever made my profile worse is like I built a profile with all of my images since like 2021. I built this profile and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go big. I'm gonna dig out my old hard drive. So I pulled out stuff from like 2017, 2018. What I didn't realize is that how I edit to get my style didn't change, but how much I'm tweaking the sliders changed.
Mm.
So it it actually got worse because the 3 years prior, I was like making everything a little bit more blue and like playing with the highlights a lot more because I was on DSLR and not mirrorless, and I edited those slightly differently. So it made the profile perform a little bit worse. But in general, like if you're tweaking and correcting, you're not really evolving your style right now.
Mhm.
Upload those back in, it'll keep improving.
So uh, one of the things that I would even recommend is if you already have your own style, that's great. Bravo, I love that for you. But I think there's a lot of us who I see some of these pre-existing profiles that exist. Can we just take one of these and use it and then tweak it a little bit? You know how we used to do? We go on not Pinterest. Sometimes we go on Pinterest. We go on Etsy and we buy some Etsy preset back in the day. Or what was the film ones everybody's masked in, and then you just tweak it a little bit. You're like, I don't want the greens that terrible. And so you adjust it, and
Yep.
now it's yours. Then you put your name on it, and you're like, "This is my preset." Well, really, it's just like Mastins with just like a little adjustment. Can we do that? Can we gank other
Yes.
people's presets here, and then like make our tweaks, and then put our name on it?
Kind of. You can't put your name on it.
I mean, I'm not saying sell it, but
I know, yeah. But you could come in. So this is my profile. And I can come in and I can click this button here, adjust profile. And now again, my style's a little bit warmer than people like. I like kind of a true to life, but I want them to be a touch yellow. So easily enough, I could just come in and say, you know what, let's have the AI do what it normally does. So edit it the way Justin normally edits it, and then bring it 500 degrees cooler.
Hmm.
So the AI will still run, it'll still automate the process, but then it's going to reduce that white balance by 500 degrees. So now it's not super warm like I like it. But you also have the ability to come in and just manually override some stuff too. So like I don't do anything with hue saturation and luminance, but you could come in and say, you know what? I want to set a fixed value because I don't like green. So I want the saturation of greens to always be -5 or -6.
Make it 10.
And I can,
Let's just really tank those greens.
you are
There
probably
it
shooting.
is.
So we're tanking those greens here. And you can do this with you can set a fixed value to this if you'd like, or again, you can have the AI correction, but because I don't use it in my profile, it's not going to correct anything. It'll just put it at +41 or whatever it is. But on some of these profiles, like you have these adjustments happening, so you can just take it a step further. One of the most popular profiles um, is called Brownies. It's a very it's a very delicious profile.
Yum, yum,
Um,
yum, yum.
and who doesn't want brownies? But it's kind of this like slightly warm, a little bit
It's got this
like
bronze vibe to it.
yeah, it's just like a cool look. It's soft, it's nice, but one of the big complaints about it is that it's got a little bit too much red in it.
Hmm.
So easily enough to you can come in, adjust profile, and do exactly that. You can just, turn the hue to make it feel a little bit more bronze,
Hmm.
and it'll just keep taking out that red a little bit. Or you could do saturation or luminance, but there's ways to kind of override it. So you could say, hey, brownies is like really close to my profile. It's lacking, it's got too much of that, and then I need it to have more contrast.
Hmm.
And then boom, you've got your style applied. You could even take this like all the way to the point of like gray card. Uh we'll pretend this is gray card. But gray card is like your basic profile. You could come in as far as to say and like, okay, I want gray card to do the white balance for me and the exposure the way it does. But then my preset is going to be a fixed value of contrast at 28. The highlights are going to be a fixed value. Like these are the settings of my preset. So it literally will white balance and expose for you and then apply the settings of your preset on top of it, and then you're just coming in and doing like little tweaks. So that's a way to kind of build up. And then again, you'll probably want to come back and like build your own profile based on those images when the time comes. When you have enough images to do it, because it's 2,500 to get started. So you'll want to come back and start building your own profile from it, so that then it's going to learn like, okay, your fixed value is this, but then you tweaked it like this on top of it. So
Awesome. There was a couple of questions around like what all can we actually edit? Can we do straightening? Like, can we do some? Somebody said like all their photographs look like they're drunk, because they're all over the place. Who was it that said that? Are we fixing that as well?
Yeah, so when you go to run the editing, you have straightening in there. We're always upgrading these cropping and straightening modules. So in this case, it's looking at the horizon
Hmm.
because what it sees. So it's pretty darn close to the horizon.
Yep.
I don't know if I would change it. But that's just Aftershoots cropping and straightening.
Okay, cool.
Just popping in and
Oh, that's
doing
great.
it. Yeah, this one it doesn't have any like I would straighten this like that.
I would not.
Okay, I'll undo it. Ben Hartley said.
Just kidding. See, again, you're not in my head. You're like, you're a professional editor. I'm like, that was a dumb decision. Lori would.
But yeah, so the cropping and straightening is there. There's two different versions of cropping. So you have your loose crop and aggressive crop. Let's go check that out.
Yeah.
Um, so we've got a session that has been called. And so on this screen, this is where we're choosing our AI profile.
Okay.
So choose your profile. If you've made any of those revisions we talked about and just click that save button, it'll be adjusted the way you want it to be adjusted. And then here's where you can tell it to crop. So you can have it be a loose crop or an aggressive crop. Now, we designed this to not be too extreme because I was using certain AI tools to do editing before Aftershoot, and like the crop was cutting people out, and like just it was
Mm.
bad cropping, and I had to go in and click reset and then crop it myself. So what we decided to do was never go too far. So when you're on loose, it's not going to do much cropping. It's going to just like squeeze things down a tiny bit. And when you're
Mm.
on aggressive, it'll squeeze it down a tiny bit more. But it's a lot easier for you to like squish in really far than it is for you to like undo it and back out and start over.
I have a feature request. Can
Yeah.
we not say the word loose? Can we make it gentle? Can it be in the next? I feel like loose is like, I don't know what I'm gonna get. It's just gonna be a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And I think I would my brain is like, what does that even mean? Aggressive makes sense. We're going hard. I think I'd like it to be like a gentle,
Yeah.
subtle crop.
Yeah,
Loose is
loose
a little ambiguous.
was a wrong term. That's a good
Feature
point.
request. I'll
Yeah.
send it into the support.
I'll let them know. Um,
Thanks, Allie.
and then here you can change the aspect ratio as well. So if you're shooting for print and you want like 8 by 10, everything to be cropped to 8 by 10, it can crop to 8 by 10 for you.
Yeah.
I leave it to default because who cares? And then here's your straightening. So it'll straighten for you as well. We also have the ability to AI mask. So we apply a subject mask similar to that subject mask that would appear in Lightroom,
Okay.
except ours doesn't have hard edges. So ours has like a taper fade, so to speak, off the edges.
A low taper fade.
Yeah, so it's like a little bit soft. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little bit soft on the edges, so you don't get any hard lines because when we were building it, like the what was available to us at the time was giving us hard lines. So
Mm.
it's a nice, soft, subtle one. And there's two options. So this can be just a subject mask only, which will just apply a subject mask, and then you can like do stuff to the subject mask if you'd like. Or we have a subject mask with edits. Now, what the subject mask with edits will do is actually come in and apply edits to your subject. So you'll see images that have like a little boost of like exposure and a little contrast, like just to make them pop out of the frame a little bit. It's not very noticeable, but it does such like it's like a huge thing. Like I never masked in my entire life until this, and now I'm like, wow, this looks great.
It's awesome.
Give it a little pop and a little happiness. So, and then down here again, you can tell it like we've run our cull already, so we'll tell it what files we want it to edit. Aftershoot's unlimited, so you don't have to make that decision. I usually just select all, edit the entire thing. It doesn't take that long to run it through. It's all, I mean, it depends on your computer speed. It's all local, so it doesn't require the Wi-Fi to run. But I would run the editing, and then I actually bring everything into Lightroom. I know it sounds like counterintuitive because I ran my culling, I did all of my stuff, but I actually like to have it all there. Because sometimes I'm like zooming in at 100% and realizing I messed something up and I need a different version of it. So I just bring it all, it's all edited, it's all inside of Lightroom. And I just use star filters to check it out.
With these masks, what is it doing exactly? How does it determine what to do with the masks? That was one of the questions it can do. Like, yeah, how is what's happening with the masks?
Yeah, so it's looking at the subject. I don't know if I have one that has a mask applied. I think I had masks somewhere in here. So what it's doing is It's looking
Ooh,
at the subject.
I love
Uh,
seeing a good mask.
yeah,
Like that
nice,
just makes
nice
me tingle right there. That is oh,
blue
so
matte.
good.
So you can see here what it did is it bumped the exposure a little bit, bumped up the contrast, then dragged down the highlights and played with the shadows. What it's looking at is just the image, right? So it's just saying, okay, like this is what it is. And it's just trying to make it pop a little bit. So like if I take the mask
Mm,
away, it's just trying to give them the texture and pop that they need to really be nice in that picture. So it's a very like subtle thing. Don't expect it to come in and like totally dump your image on its head, because it's not going to. It's literally just going to give it like just the most tiny little sliver of a mask on it. Oh, some background. So like yeah, this mask, it's just coming in and
mhm.
just making it pop a little bit. So very, very subtle. But now, of course, the mask is applied already. So all I have to do, I open these up. It looks just like this. So all I have to do is come in and say, oh, I want them to be like super blown out. And then I can, you know, take care of it. Or if I want to make them, I want to take this and desaturate her and do reverse selective color, I
Oh,
can.
oh,
Yeah. We're very, but it's all done for me. So again, it's making these small mask tweaks individually, per image, right? So it's going to like adjust the subjects differently from image to image because it's just looking at the subject and saying, what can I do to make this subject look a little bit better?
that's cool. So there were some questions regarding integration into workflow. And so obviously we're in Lightroom right now. What about those who are using different workflows? We've got Capture One, we've got like a Bridge. I think that's probably about sums it up. Or even
Yeah,
honestly, like some of the other Lightroom, mobiles and versus Classic. I just
yeah,
asked you five things. I'm sorry, Justin.
that's okay. I have answers for all five.
Yay.
So Uh, for those who are using any Adobe product, we will still need your images to land inside of Lightroom to learn your style. After that point forward, it doesn't matter. The images, they don't have to be in Lightroom. So I could actually take like images like this. Let's go find something. I can take an image from here and bring it into any Adobe product. Let me find something that's not terrible. I gotta go here. So these were all edited. You can see the little edited check mark in the corner here. I'm gonna go try and find where were we on that wedding. Uh, Whatever. Let's go grab her coming down the aisle. But so basically, I can just come in and drag and drop these files right into any Adobe product. So it could be Lightroom Cloud, it could be Lightroom Classic, it can be Bridge, Photoshop. And what happens is when I drag and drop it in, sorry, I'm on the beta build, so it's taking a minute to show me stuff.
Are you just always on the beta build? Just like
I am,
nonstop? Yeah.
yeah. It's pretty unfortunate because I'm literally like always testing something and it is usually really good. Beta builds are usually pretty good, but I always find like this bug where it's like, okay, great, I did too many things too fast.
Yep.
Uh, okay, here we
There
go.
we go.
So I can actually drag and drop this straight into, let's say, Photoshop. So you could import these all to Bridge as you normally would, or Lightroom as you normally would, and they would all just appear and do their thing. So as you can see, this really flattering picture of the bride is edited. It's got exposure, contrast, highlights, shadows, all the things that I normally do. The white balance, everything's been set the way that I would edit it
Mhm.
versus what you saw over here.
Just two people.
That's from that's straight into well, this is Photoshop. It's camera raw, but then I would click on open and then I could Photoshop it and do the things that I normally would do.
Yeah.
So it gives you all of that what no matter what Adobe product it is, it should just open right up, all edited and done. So if you're using Bridge, if you're using Camera Raw, if you're using Lightroom Classic, Lightroom Cloud, whatever it is, import them after you've run the editing inside of Aftershoot. You just import them as you normally would, and they'll just appear all edited and happy.
And so I'm hearing what I'm not hearing is Capture One.
Yeah. So for those who use Capture One, the process is a little different. So for
We don't have
Capture
to cover
One,
it now, like because it's
no,
probably
no, it's
pretty specific, unless it's an easy.
It's super easy. So with Capture One, you would do if you were running your cull or whatever it is, you'd need to bring them in those images back into Capture One. And then the way Capture One works is it's very annoying, but you have to jump back out, create a new album, and then I would go find my Capture One session or catalog. We work on both. I don't think I have any Capture One stuff on this. Um, yeah, I don't. So you would come in and find wherever that catalog is. You would connect that catalog here and then walk through the process that Capture One catalog. It would automatically filter for it. And the reason is because Capture One doesn't like us. So
Yeah.
they're not into it. So they don't they don't want to work with us. So we don't have any way to really like play nice with their software. You have to do these loop arounds, which is like, that's why we don't have any marketplace profiles either for Capture One yet, because they are giving us certain access to things. So well, yeah, you just have to go in and edit that session or catalog separately. The learning process, everything is exactly the same. So you import those sessions or catalogs in the just like we did with Lightroom, except they'd be your Capture One catalogs.
So we've got a couple options that we could do right now. One is we could take a look at like the fastest way to go through an actual call using Aftershoot. And I'm going to throw this out to the audience right now. So because we only have about 15 minutes here. So, or we could go to Q&A. I was thinking we were gonna have a lot more time for Q&A, but I've been asking questions kind of as we go. So that's on me. Do we want to do more Q&A, or do we want to go take a look at like how to call as quickly as possible? I'm seeing Ali says, can we talk more about the beta retouching? That wasn't even an option, Alec. Now you're just that's fine. We could probably do that too. But I'm okay. Everyone's nobody. It's all call. It's all
Okay, cool.
it's all call. Okay, cool. So I'll let you take it away for calling now.
Yeah, awesome. And just to make Ali happy, here's beta retouching. This will take 2 seconds. Here's my before. Here's my after.
Gosh.
So you have acne, blemish, forehead wrinkle, eye bags, all these exciting things.
What'd you just call me?
And you also have a patch tool, so you can come in and like, patch stuff out. So super easy, super fast, all in one place. And like I can do it on one image and then sync it across like 10 more, or 100 more if you want. So you can come in and just have it all retouched with very little work. So
wow.
Just makes life super easy.
Is this out for the general?
It's not for general yet. It's the wait. Those who signed up for the wait list can use it. So we've been going down the wait list so far. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah, I like that it's not too much too. Like I like that she still has a face.
Yeah, we were very, very specific in trying to make it not crazy. So like keep it all reasonable. And then like you can even come in here and just like patch out those weird things like that. Like the little jacket piece. And it's all local, doesn't require Wi-Fi. So again, you can just be retouching 5 million images, no pay per image stuff. But yeah, that's it. It's pretty awesome. I'm excited for it. I don't even do a lot of retouching, and I'm excited for it.
I do a lot of retouching. One of my commitments for all my clients for weddings was for the couple. My commitment to the couple was any photograph that was like 2/3 or closer, like waist up or closer, I would retouch. And it was a big differentiator from a lot of people. Like their photos were all going to be freaking phenomenal. But that meant I was doing a lot of retouching for that. I mean, imagine a wedding,
yeah.
So
now would be super easy. So you could just do retouching like that. Just sync it across.
Love that.
Bada bing, bada boom. So here's culling. This is a different do you guys want to learn how to like actually start a cull? Maybe I just walk you through the settings really fast and then I can tell you how to review it quickly. So we'll just choose a file here, set of files, import from this folder, choose the genre type.
Real quick. Treat us like we're 5.
Oh.
All right. Choose like peel my orange, daddy. That's weird. I just called you daddy. I'm gonna mute up real fine. Quick.
That's fine.
I'm gonna mute up.
So we what we did, we created a new album. We can drag and drop the files in here, or we can browse. So we just found this session here. If you only want to do RAW, like sometimes I have RAWs and JPEGs together, you would want to filter before you do this. You also have the ability to ingest. So if you've plugged a memory card into your computer, we can actually download them off and set them up into two separate locations. So like if you have like a working drive and a backup drive or a NAS system and all that crazy stuff, we can actually do that for you. You can tell it where the working copy should be, where the backup copy should be. We don't recommend running culls or edits on memory cards because they're super fickle. They don't like to go back and forth. Like they're really meant to like send data from a camera or read it to view the image, but not both at the same time. So oops, that's Loom. We'll select a folder. Let's make a Loom video of this. We'll import from this folder. And now we have to tell it we want to get started with culling. I'm going to click on Start Culling. It presents me with two, well, technically three options. You have AI automated culling. This is where it's going to go in and select images for you. Then we have AI assisted culling. The only thing AI assisted culling is going to do is like put the key faces, so the most important faces in each image. It's going to pull those out for you. It's going to put similar images together, but it won't rate blur, it won't rate closed eyes, it won't select any images for you. It's just a manual tool that makes your manual job a little bit easier.
Mhm.
And then there's Cull Manually, which does none of that. It's just a free manual culling tool. So like just have fun with it. So I recommend if you really don't like AI choosing images for you, like if you're not ready to commit to like correcting what the AI is doing, AI assisted is a pretty good option for you because it's going to just help you get through the manual stuff faster. So it's going to give you some tools that make life easier to manually cull, but it's not going to be you getting frustrated at AI for doing it wrong because that it happens. AI can't get it 100% right every time. It's going to show you a lot of stuff that you don't want to see. That's what it's designed to do. So
Is there was a question about narrative, and I know you're not narrative, but
yeah,
isn't that kind of like just what narrative does? Doesn't narrative just do kind of like the customized AI call, not automated?
correct. They do the AI assisted call.
Yeah,
So yeah, we offer the same thing. It is free to use. So if you're currently paying a subscription, you don't have to pay the subscription to use that version.
it's awesome.
You just go in and yeah, you're not getting anything. It's not. It's just helping you do your job faster. It's not like AI doing your job for you. So yeah, it's a pretty good tool. Definitely try it out. Makes it easier. But I personally love this version. So this is where it's choosing images for me and I'm just
Mm.
correcting the AI because I don't want to do all the work. I want help.
Yes, please. Especially, I'm like a 10,000 image photographer from weddings, and so I
I'm
need.
about five or six, so
Yeah, that's with a second though.
yeah. Yeah, five or six with a second for me. And like, I just don't want to do that work. It's still, if it, the amount of time it takes you to review images one by one at 6,000 images or 10,000 images, you're already guaranteeing yourself at least 2 hours if you're looking at each image than more than like half a second. Like I see people who are like, yeah, I cull 5,000 images in 30 minutes. And I'm like, you're looking at it.
Man, bullshit. I'm
Yeah,
calling
that's
bullshit.
that's less than a quarter of a second per image. So you're not looking at every image. Like I can't even see a face in an image that fast. So, but anyways, there's a couple different versions just in this screen. So you have your automated AI call. We have three options here: few, standard, or more. Few, standard, and more. Like obviously, you want less images or you want more images. The AI is going to go through and select one of everything. So if you're like somebody who's got out of focus images, let's say I took four out of focus images in a row of the same thing, the AI is going to show me one that it thinks is the best out of them. So I have to review a lot of extra stuff. So it's just saying like you got to check this out because it doesn't know like am I a bad photographer? Was it a creative decision? Do I shoot on Nikon? It's not like it just knows it's out of focus. So
Are you
it's
using Sigma art lenses?
yeah, exactly. It just knows it's out of focus, so it's going to show you one. So you'll get to see one of everything in these three modes, the few, standard, and more. In extreme mode, what it does is it's trying to only give you the best. So it's saying
Mm.
here is like it's going to give you a category of yeses and a category of maybes. Few, standard, and more, it's just giving you a category of yeses.
Mm.
And then you have to go through and get rid of stuff. But extreme is like these are yeses and these are maybes, and then you have to decide like what out of the maybes is worth keeping. Down here, you can customize it if you'd like to. So you can turn off the highlights feature. You can change how we group similar images. So small groups would mean that like only identical photos get put together. Standard groups, if the head position starts changing on the images, we'll put those together, pick the best one. Big groups, if the body position starts changing, put those together, pick the best one. Large groups, it's going to just try and throw as much stuff together as it can and pick the best one. And then down here, you can tell it how much you want it to judge your images for blur. So like Sigma art lenses, you're down on lenient. For like, native at 5.6 type stuff, you want to be up at strict, right? So lenient is really like I run lenient on my weddings because oftentimes I want images that have really great emotion. And sometimes I just drop the ball. Like I hit focus on the chest, not the face. And the face isn't like bad and I can sharpen it and maybe fix it later. So give me the lenient because it'll consider that a good image. But let's say I took a series of 4 images in a row and the focus was varying on them. So it was the same moment. Image one is tack sharp focus on the eye with really bad emotion. Like they're just like straight face. They're bored to be at this wedding. Image two, I missed focus. It's on their chest. The face is soft, but there's like great emotion. They're laughing. If I run it on strict, it will only consider the one where the eye is tack sharp. So even though the other one has better emotion, it's going to completely ignore it and say, yeah, you said strict blur, only the best of the best. If I run it on lenient, it's going to say, hey, that one with really good emotion, that's slightly softer. Let's consider that good and take it from there. So yeah, then you can close off, you turn off closed eyes or anything you want. You click on start culling, magic happens, and then you open up a pre-culled wedding for yourself. So this is that example of the extreme mode. So highlights is my maybes category. So these are all the images that I couldn't decide on, didn't know if they were good, bad, or mediocre. And these selected ones, these are the ones that it says, yeah, these are the ones that you should be giving to your client. So the top tier. So you can see a mix together here. Blue, it said this is a good image, this is an okay image. So that's a maybe. Yeah. So
is there a way, this is a question that came through. Can I see, like, is there a way for me to scan like the ones someone was asking about, like closed eyes? Like this person was like, well, sometimes I want actually to include that, but only on occasion. Is there a way to, like, are they gone, or is there a way for me to go back and view like, hey, these are the closed eyes, these are the, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, absolutely. So nothing inside of Aftershoot, nothing gets deleted or omitted entirely. So in this case, there's a +5 behind this image. So down here, you can see there's 5 more images. So if I use the period and comma key, I can see all the other options. So this is option 1, 2, 3. That's the one it chose. 4, 5. I can swap these. Keyboard shortcut S, swaps them. So I have full control. And let's say I like both versions of it and I hit the A key. Now I've added it. So A for add, S for swap. Let's say I don't like any of them, X to reject. So if I hit on X, it's going to get rid of them. So I still have full control and they're all here. So everything that is selected that has a similar image, the similar image is basically, it's behind it. It's down here. So you can see there's a secondary image to it. Now, in the case of stuff that's been marked as closed eyes on this sidebar here, if I click on closed eyes, it's showing me these are the closed eyes images. And it's true. Some of them you want, like maybe not that one.
They're
but,
praying.
like,
Damn it.
Some of these, maybe I want some of these to pull them back in. It gives you like this one. This is super cute.
Aw.
Definitely gonna add that one back in.
Not cute.
Yeah. So, yeah, not cute there. But yeah, so it gives us the ability to come in and I can still add them with the A key.
I like that
Still
one.
get them back in. And then like here I have the blur. I can do the same thing with blur. So this was at our retreat in Peru. So we actually like we had a real life wedding. So these two got married in front of a
Wait,
bunch
they
of
got married at your retreat?
yeah, so
That's so
actually
cool.
that's Rick. He's an amazing photographer. And yeah, so they actually got married at the retreat because they never had like the ceremony and like a bunch of their friends were there. So but like this is marked as blur. It's one image. I think the very next image I probably caught focus on her finally. So it's one image. These are standalone blurry photos that the AI is just like, yeah, there's nothing better. Yeah, and like you can add them in. Like this one, very clearly taken on my Nikon, like just not in focus. Yeah,
I love that you
definitely.
still use Nikon while you shit on them. You're like, and it's my preferred camera.
Yeah, I like them. I like them. They just don't focus well. But so yeah, just like this is it's bad images, but it's not getting rid of anything. You can always see stuff, so you don't have to like completely let go. And what's really cool is so like this is our grid view. You get to see everything, kind of laid out here. You get your key faces. This is my favorite view to cull in because I can like X add ASX add swap reject on this screen, and most of the time it covers everything I need it to cover.
Mhm.
And then we also have other screens available. So like loop view is here. This is where you get to see things up close and personal. So, you can, if you prefer to cull in this style view, you can. But then we also have, if I hit the keyboard shortcut N, this is survey mode. So survey mode shows you each duplicate set at the same time. So you can see what it chose versus what it didn't choose. So if you're really like hesitant about AI and not trusting what it's doing, this is your way to like verify and be like,
And this
okay,
blue
this
is
is
what it
good.
chose.
Blue is what it chose, and then I'm gonna hit A. I'm gonna add that one in. This one chose that one. I'm cool with that. Cool with that. And I can swap and add and reject and do all the
Mm.
different things.
Yeah.
Now, as mentioned, there's always one of everything. So whenever you're running a cull, we give you one of everything, and you'll find
Mhm.
these little warning images. I gotta find one somewhere. But there's what we call warnings, and these are this little bar here, right? So it's got that little orange bracket or yellow bracket, and these are the warned images. So this is that one of everything concept where it's saying, yeah, you took 5 photos in a row and they're out of focus and you should check it out. So it makes it really easy to kind of see. Like this looks in focus on the grid view, but if I hit enter, like you look at these key faces, they are not in focus. So again, it just gives you that ability to see one of everything, but that's what that warning is. It's saying, hey, you missed focus on all these photos. You should probably check these out. Uh, and we picked one for you because clearly you took 5 of them.
Mm. So
I
it
don't
is
know.
still grabbing one of everything.
Still grabbing one of
I think that's
everything.
what people need to hear is like it's if you're doing like again for me if I'm doing 10,000 like it's still I'm gonna get one of everything but it's gonna reduce that 10,000 down to
Yeah, like
much.
this. So this was an engagement session, 1,275 images down to 298. So
Mm.
much, much more manageable. Like I could probably call through this in 20 minutes, just kind of reviewing some stuff. Again, getting rid of like this stuff. It's choosing this because there is no other option that's similar to it because the very next image they're actually dipping. So it says these are two different poses. It
Mm.
doesn't know that they're not posing. Someone might like that photo, not me. I hit the X key and it's gone. So it's still requires me to do some review, but it gets you way, way, way closer than if you were just doing it, by hand. Like in this case, 6,000 images down to 2,300 images. Still gonna get rid of maybe 700, 800 images from this thing, but I'm way, way better off than I was if I had to go through 6,000.
Yeah, for sure. It's
And I'm gonna show
awesome.
you one. Can I show one more thing really
Yeah, you
fast?
can. While you're pulling it up, a couple things. There's a couple questions in the chat. One is I believe I recorded this. I'm gonna try to get up on YouTube or something and send those who registered a link. Two is somebody asked, is there a trial? I think it was Sammy who said, is there a trial? Courtney? No. Hartley? Yeah, I think Hartley. Yes, there is. And I asked Justin if he would give those who showed up right now a better deal than what was even offered on Black Friday. And so hopefully I didn't throw you under the bus there.
It's similar deal.
It's similar, but it's not out there. So I was like, I don't want to give people the same old. So anyhow, 25%, it's a free month and 25% off of any plan. You don't have to say, hey, I'm going to do the annual. I'm going to do only the pro. Like it's on anything. Sometimes I don't like it when there's only deals only on like a very specific thing. Cause I'm like, well, that thing isn't what I want. So 25% on anything, monthly or annual. And so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I'll get you a link for that here in a little bit. Now, Justin, what did you want to show us?
I just wanted to show spray can mode because I love it. I call it
Ooh,
clicking away on my panes. So there's a little spray paint can here. I can tell it what happens when I click on an image. So left click for me is going to be remove it, and right click is going to be swap. So I literally just come in and say I don't like that photo, and I click on it and it's gone. And then I can say, oh, I like this one better. I right click and it's swapped. So it's a super fast way to do things. We also have the option to make it add it to my selections. So now what happens is every time I click on an image, the little circle in the lower right hand corner gets filled in. So I click on that photo. And what happens is that gets filled in. It's been added to my own little collection. So if you're the type of person who doesn't want to like reject the bad stuff from AI, you want to just like cherry pick off the top, it's very easy to come in here and like, even in survey mode and just click on it and add it to my selections. It's also the keyboard shortcut D. So you just hit the D and then it goes in.
Could you say it again?
Yeah, just hit the D and
Just
then it
hit
goes
that
into
D.
my selection. And then yeah, but again, it's that culling in effort, right? It's letting you pick out the best stuff for yourself. So just another way to use it. I didn't realize that we were gonna go so long here. I hope we covered as many things as people needed.
Yeah. I didn't expect us to go. I was hoping that we would just be, and here we are. Thank you, man. Thank you for just like pouring in all the things and stuff. So, okay, a couple things. I need to get to my book solid students. I need to get to the book solid coaching. So here is the link. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. Boop. I think I did it. No, hold on. That's a direct message to Alex's meeting group chat. Okay, there we go. Boop. Okay, there you go. That is the link for 25% off. So you're not going to see that other places. So, and it's only good for 72 hours. So just so you all know, you can't save that and then like come back to it in like a month. You got some time to like hem and haw and like torture yourself or whatever. But definitely go check that out. And the thing I would say is this. I think obviously there's a direct cost with anything, right? But there is an opportunity cost of all of the things that you could be doing with the hours saved. Like, again, actually building your business and marketing and getting out there and networking and just finding more energy. And so I think a lot of times we only see like, okay, well, that cost me, X amount a month, but just like the opportunity cost lost of saving that is just, it far outweighs it. Okay, so I'm going to put that there again. And then the last thing is it is unlimited, right, Justin? It's just like you can keep going. You can make multiple profiles. You can make a black and white profile. You can edit an entire wedding in black and white, and then you can edit the entire wedding in somebody else's profile. And then you can say, I'm going to try out Cassidy's profile, and then you could run the entire wedding through Cassidy's profile. Maybe even Ben Hartley's. I don't know. maybe. And just see what you like. And that's what I like is, for me, it's like a creative program. Like I feel like it's a creative tool to even discover your own style, because sometimes you need to see an entire gallery edited in a look and an aesthetic before you can say like, okay, I really like this. I'm going to move in this direction. Yeah. Any final thoughts, Justin?
No, I love you guys so much. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm trying to answer your comments on the sidebar. Maybe, I don't know, maybe we make a thread somewhere somehow so I can answer more questions.
Yeah.
Ben, did you make me the host?
I did not make you the host.
Do you want to make me the host and you have to go run?
I'd love to make you a host.
I can try and answer as many of the questions as I can if anyone has any more questions.
Yeah, and I actually grabbed a bunch that I maybe was not able to answer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to text you these, Justin.
Okay, cool.
And
Yeah.
I just put first names on this. Hold on, let me find you. Okay, there you are. I just put first names and then their question. And so I guess I'll just hop over to my own coaching for the wedding photographers, and you can just exist on my screen. Does that work?
Yeah. That's perfect. I think you can once you make me a host,
I can leave.
You can leave. I
feel like I gave up so much power. Like I feel like I really don't want to do this.
We're gonna definitely do something.
Hey, thanks everybody. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Even if you don't try Aftershoot or whatever, like I'm just glad you're here and you were learning and you're spending time investing in your business. So appreciate it. We got Tom's dropping pics in the chat. So thanks for showing up.
Are you WPPI right there?
Oh yeah. I'm gonna stop the record now though, just to make sure that I
Yeah.
have it. Okay. And hey chat, I have to go do my coaching for my book solid students. That's gonna be 2 hours. I'll then edit this video down a little bit, upload it to YouTube, and then you'll get an email from me. Okay. And that'll have everything. Okay. And so I think you guys all got the link. I'll drop it one more time if you didn't. Hey, they all have the link, right?
For sure.
Here it is. Last one. Boop. And I'm out of here. All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye, Ben.
Love you. Cheers.
Love you too. Amazing. So I'm